Carl, the genesis of this, when you started drawing, how did you start to kind of back your way into this?
I got my level 1 in '09 at the ranch in Aromas. I also kind of grew up to be pretty artistic. My family was always kind of artistic growing up. A lot of times I feel like when I was coaching, it was hard for me to be visual aside from just like mimicking a cue. And then I was just thinking, well, I mean, I could just draw things out, cues, little tips every single day, and it just kind of evolved to what it is today.
The air squat is like the CrossFit handshake. It's like the
Yep.
first thing you do, right? Austin Malleolo and I were studying to become on staff together, and we were always studying. We would go heels, knees, depth, arch, line of action. How did you guys do that?
Yes, 100%. What I try to do is I break it down to the most simple terms. When I'm teaching the squat to my students, we take off the shoes and we work on the balance, full foot, full force, that type of thing, where you're pushing down into the ground. Everything starts for me with the most special connection, and that's the connection between the body and the ground.
Do you think that you could tell about an athlete's overall movement patterns by watching them air squat?
You can tell a fair amount. For CrossFit, we're talking about functional movement. I want to say you can tell a lot about an athlete based on how they move, specifically in the squat. But then again, there's a lot of NFL players who don't necessarily train their end range of motion, who are phenomenal athletes. I do not know everything, that's for sure.
What are some of the main things that we can touch on here?
Cues for the front squat. I mean, one of the favorites that everyone just loves is the elbows are lasers and you're shooting at lasers across the room. It makes it for a really great visual, a great external cue. The bar being connected to the torso, I think that's a really smart one there. What I will do is do what I call squat therapy. I don't think it's new. I'm sure other people know it, but I'm not sure if they know by this name. But you stand in a squat stance, likely, shoulder width apart about and toes slightly pointed out, bend at the hip, touch your toes, and then down, sink your hips down, and then put your palms together, push your knees out. So your knees are in line with your toes, push your chest out, get an upright torso, shoulders back. And we spend some time in that end range position there. Then I say, hands down, hips up. And then we'll take it one step further where we'll go back down that position, put a left hand on your left foot, right hand up in the air, look up at your right hand, bring your right hand down, switch. And so the more we spend time in those end ranges position, man, I've noticed a massive difference in their squat mobility.
I often say, if you can't hold the bottom of your squat for 5 minutes, like that's all you need. This is what's going to make you better. Do you guys agree with that?
That was one of the best things I probably ever did.
For me, it's I think the most bang for your buck stretch you can do. Zercher versus front squat, which is more functional?
That's a really great question. I'm going to say the Zercher is more functional to everyday life. My take, because I do see a ton of mobility issues when it comes to front rack with my students. And if they have an issue, I'm not going to put them in a Zercher position. I'm going to, a good fix, I think, a temporary fix is just to put the straps on the bar and to get the elbows up where they're attached to the straps on the bar. And that way they can actually figure out, because the bar has to rest on that front rack position. It has to be connected to the torso. And additionally, they start to get the idea of where the elbow should be.
Do you guys remember when you first overhead squatted? Because I don't think many people do it before CrossFit.
I got a story about that. It was 2009. I was with Savan Matosian. First time I ever overhead squatted was with him. We were in a power rack cage. It had like the safety arms on it, His mobility at the time too, I mean, it was better than mine, but it still wasn't the best. And he had to bail and the bar went down just straight and landed on the safety arms of the power crit cage, made the loudest noise ever. And he and I both looked at each other like, well, it's not gonna keep us from overhead squatting. And so I put the bar on my back, popped it up there. Same thing happened. Here we are just making a ruckus and just like thinking that we're CrossFitters and we can do whatever we want, wherever we want to do. And sure enough, we were like getting eye rolls and side eyes from other people. But man, it was the very first time. And I was like, how in the world are people supposed to squat in this position with a barbell over your freaking head? This is impossible.
I've been told by some they do not believe in kicking the hips back in the beginning of the descent of the overhead squat. Thoughts? This is
to me that's not correct.
I think a lot of people maybe don't hip initiate enough, right? I want to keep that bar over the midfoot, over my head. But if I send my butt back, my shoulders are too tight, so I can't pull back. So what I in turn do is send my knees forward. Once they have that bar overhead, in order to keep it in the frontal plane, they jam their knees forward to keep that bar over.
I would tend to believe that if I had a conversation with this doctor, we would probably agree. This is typically the when with regard to that specific question that about the hips going back is not necessarily like hips go back or not. It's a timing issue.
This is it. This is what I was talking about. Look at her torso. Where does anthropometric limitation versus lack of a mobility begin and end? Feels like an easy cop out to blame your body instead of your lack of mobility.
That's exactly what it is. And again, I see students every day that are like, I can't do this because of this. I'm like, well, I think you can't do this because I don't think you're working on it and you don't really want to. Everyone's different, but also we all have to abide by the same laws of physics.
We premiered the salt shaker on Instagram this morning. It's also coming to YouTube. But if you haven't seen it yet, you're in luck.
My name is Jason Fernandez, and I'm a CrossFit affiliate owner.
Tell me about the salt shaker.
The salt shaker analogy is something that Boz presented to all of us on training staff several years ago. Imagine a table, and at the center of that table, there's a salt shaker. And that salt shaker represents your beliefs and your values. And at some point, somebody's going to come along for reasons unbeknownst to you, and they will challenge those beliefs. And the challenge that he presented to us, what we were charged with, was to defend those beliefs. And those are known as salt shaker moments. And we all have salt shaker moments in our lives. We have them outside of the gym. We have them as athletes. We have them as coaches. We have them as affiliate owners. And it can be tough. Because when somebody comes along and they challenge your beliefs, you have to stand your ground. And those challenges could be, hey, you can't make money running a CrossFit gym. You need to have this program or that program in order to make it work. It could be, people can't get results in a group setting. You can't create careers for people. And the reality is, those are all distractions. They're distractions from what we know will get us to the goal. And that's the unreasonable pursuit of virtuosity. A level of virtuosity that permeates the affiliate. Every barbell, every plate, every pull-up bar, every athlete, every coach, every interaction that we have as affiliate owners with every single person. Because we know CrossFit works. People all over the globe walk into affiliates and have profound life changes. In order to keep doing that, we have to hold the line. We have to keep steadfast in our beliefs. And we have to not let people move the salt shaker. Because it's exactly where it's supposed to be.
So good.
It was very well spoken. That's what I liked about it.
I think we shot it like 3 times. The first couple times I think I think I was just nervous. Like I just couldn't get fucking sent. I mean, Nate probably says it went fine, but I felt super nervous shooting it.
You've been thinking about that video for quite some time.
I just think it's an important message, right? I think it's not about like me or us or what we're doing. It's about the message, which is like, we know the shit works. We don't need to change it. We don't need to think about it, in all these crazy ways. We just need to continue to focus on it and do it better every single day.
Why is the pistol often taught differently than the air squat?
For me, I teach it so much different. Standing tall, you balance on one foot, bend over at the hip, and you grab your foot, hinge around your knee, where you send your hips back, your knee goes forward, chest over the base of your foot, and then you just reverse it on the way back up. And to me, it's like the easiest way to do the pistol. Yeah, I would not. I would have them place a plate underneath their heel, or I would make an accommodation for them so they're not putting themselves in a dangerous position.
What is a commonly missed part of correcting a squat?
Easy. not focusing on balance first. It's all about balance.
What is an active shoulder in the overhead squat?
Definitely down and tucked, packed is what I would say. Elbows down, armpit forward, packed lat. And you actually, if you really want to help yourselves out, you can actually kind of push the bar, push your hands away from each other in that overhead squat position. I'm going to put this out here right now. If anybody knows someone who can help me develop an app, I have worked with 2 or 3 different app builders. They've contacted me. They said, hey, listen, if you work with us, we'll build an app for you. And the whole process has taken a few months in some cases, but they've never been able to deliver on exactly what I would like to do. If you know somebody who can develop an app that is basically a giant directory of all the Whiteboard Daily content that I've ever created that can be on your phone, please reach out to me.
I got somebody. If anybody else knows someone, feel free to, shoot Carl a DM over at Whiteboard Daily. Always great having you on. Pick up the book, throw it in your affiliate. Great gift for a coach. If you have a great coach at your box and you're not sure what to get him, this is where it's at. Carl, it's been great catching up with you. Keep up the great work. Awesome artist, coach, husband, father, all those good things. One of the good guys doing the right things for the right people. Thanks for coming on.